like to call upon Karen's subconscious and higher self and any collectives that are willing to help us today.
Thank you. We're here with you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your patience as we begin this session today.
Yes.
Are we able to do a body scan for the body and find out what's happening there?
Her body is experiencing heaviness, mainly in her abdomen area. It's represented through some bloating that she has. It is extra energy like she was thinking it was. She needs to ground it and release it, and she will feel more comfortable within her body once that's done.
What is going on for her to have this extra energy?
There has been, it seems like a lot of work that she's been doing in the astral world. And she was given extra energy and upgrades to complete some tasks. She's not aware of what she's been doing, and we can't share what she's been doing. But it is related to the upcoming shift that everybody will be experiencing. There's a lot of preparation, last minute preparations being made to accommodate all the different scenarios that will be taking place around the world. There's been much planning, many, many meetings, and several have been summons, we'll say, to join in those meetings to help with the planning in fine details. She's been one of them. That's another reason her sleep has only been like 4 or 5 hours a night. When she is returned back, she seems to always wake up instead of staying asleep. We'll try to help her with that. She needs to set intentions when she goes to sleep and ask for that extra help, not to be disturbed when she returns back to her body.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you so much for letting us know that. We do have quite a few questions. We're very excited for this exciting session. I know it's going to be very intriguing. My first question is about the new Earth, and do we sleep there? Does the body need to rest?
No, the body will not need to rest. Your actually your mind is going to function differently too. It won't need as much rest or downtime either. You will gain rest through meditation practices more than actual sleep. So as you're here in the 3D, a lot of people are already adjusting because it's a need and it's a habit to sleep. And when you transcend to the 5D planet, you're going to feel like you are missing out because I didn't sleep. And it will be the same as with eating solid foods. Eventually, you will lose those habits. Most nutrition that you'll need, you can get through fluids. And that transition will be a little harder than the sleep one. A lot of people will, of course, turn to the meditation. They'll learn that rather quickly. That's how they will have their resets, we'll call it, and boost their energy for whatever task they need to do in their near future. We'll call it the next day because that's what we're used to saying. So tomorrow for them, they'll use meditation as the resting period. as opposed to sleeping.
I see. Okay. Well, the next question I had, which I hadn't even spoken to Karen about, was the food on the new earth. I keep getting requested to learn if there's going to be juicy steak on the new earth. What would you like us to know about that?
There are a lot of plants that are available for consumption. It depends on that soul's taste. A lot of it will, again, be habits or cravings that they had when they were on the 3D planet that they came from. They'll want to experience it there to see how enhanced it's become, but it's not really a necessity. It will be more of a treat, something that you treat yourself to, like getting your hair done or buying a new dress. I'm going to go try out that melon and see how it tastes compared to what I remember it being. So I guess you can say some of it's going to be experimental as well as a treat for yourself, but it's not necessary. The nutrition that your upgraded body definitely needs is more in the form of liquids. I see a lot of natural groundwater there that you can just go and scoop it up with your hands, and it rejuvenates you.
For people who don't like to meditate and love eating steak, this will be devastating news for them. What would you like to say to them who will be struggling with this?
A lot of times, eating is a comfort thing because there's something bothering them. So people seek food for that comfort here on earth. You won't have those ailments on the 5D. You won't have the need to seek comfort through food. Your soul's going to be more advanced. And it's like, I don't need that anymore. You will be so comfortable with yourself. You love yourself more. And through the meditation, you'll actually crave it because that is your comfort. That is your comfort food now. And it will be a natural thing.
Thank you. I do understand. And then the conversation normally flows on for them to say that they just love cooking and that cooking is very important to them and special. What would you like to say to those people who are worried that they will not be cooking on the new earth?
Cooking is an art or a hobby. There's going to be so many more fascinating projects, co-creating, and kind of cooking is co-creating on a very small scale. So that hobby or passion that you have for cooking is going to be transferred to different interest, higher interest. I'm being given an example of colors. It's colors that are created. It's almost like painting. But people are co-creating together, making different designs or different hues of colors. And that's just one hobby or passion that I can explain that will replace cooking.
Thank you. So in terms of creativity on the new earth, is there such options for us to paint or pottery or something else?
Yes, people find that relaxing to use their physical hands to create. but eventually they're going to evolve into using their minds to create, and the focus will eventually lie there.
I love that. Okay, well, thank you so much. Very intriguing. And just two more quick questions about the new Earth. Will we have the same sun orbiting us that we have now on this planet go with us to the new Earth?
No, the sun that is in this solar system has a purpose. And it does stay here in this universe, this galaxy, this solar system. It has gravitational pulls that keep things in place. You will have, I'm seeing like binary sun, two suns that the new Earth is being supported with. And there's other satellites that are natural as opposed to the moon that you have here. So the sky, it's different almost every day. The rotation of that planet, that body, is a different thing. It's almost like a figure eight because it will rotate around one of the suns and then it comes back around and then it rotates around the other. And it makes a figure eight. And that's the rotation pattern for that planet.
Fantastic. And what about our current satellite moon that we are aware of? What's going to happen to it when we shift?
Its main focus was to observe Earth. And once Earth is not of interest anymore, it looks like that will be not dismantled, decommissioned. That's the word I want. And it will be abandoned here. It will still, it'll stay in its position until another planet. And it won't be in this galaxy. It will be moved to another planet and used again as a artificial satellite to observe. And it might be another 3D planet that's not too far away. It will be relocated there.
Who would be in charge of relocating it?
The Pleiadians. Once it's abandoned by the darker forces, they'll have free reign to. It's almost like a tractor beam. They'll hook it up and they'll drag it through space. They don't want it to be used again like it was. Against this planet. I know that sounds very medieval, but it didn't have a good agenda while it was here. The original moon was captured. That was with Earth. Earth was also hijacked out of this solar system for a little while. And then when it was returned, that's when the artificial moon was put in place. And I don't have a lot of details of where it went and why. But for a span of 20 or 30,000 years, it was not here. Humans weren't on it at that time. It looks like it was in the beginning of its creation before there was much life form here.
So interesting. Okay, well, thank you. And so those beings who are on the moon, do you get a sense of who they are in terms of their star seeds?
I feel there's some Orions there and some Zetas. Zetas were on Earth for quite a while, but there's not many left here now, but there's still some on the moon.
And what are they doing there?
The initial programs that they implemented were learning, observing. Then they turned to not manipulation, but they did want to experiment with human DNA. And there has been some people taken there, actual humans, for their research.
What would happen to those humans after they were researched on?
They lived the rest of their lifespan there on the moon in a controlled environment. And I can't even say they were disposed of properly what we would do, because they were only subjects that were to fulfill their experiments. Some didn't live very long, and some lived many, many, many years.
And we're assuming this is part of the life contracts?
Yes. Yes. Some of them souls, that was their life contract.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a, it was a free will thing. It's almost like once the body was removed from Earth and taken there, the soul left the body and the body was left behind to be experimented with. So there was not a lot of trauma to the soul. They didn't, the souls didn't stay behind to experience that part of it, just the bodies.
I see. Okay, thank you. Very interesting. Okay, so then we have 2 suns on the new Earth. Do we have any moons?
Yes, there are natural satellites that are traveling with the new Earth. They're of different sizes. That planet is much bigger than the one humans occupy now. And the distance between the 2 suns is greater than we are from the sun that we orbit now. I feel like I'm being redundant, sorry. But we're showing her, like I said, a figure 8. And in between the 2 circles on the end is where the 2 suns set. And it's like it goes in starts in a counterclockwise rotation around one planet, and then it goes to the other one, which would be on the right, and then it goes in a clockwise position. It goes underneath it and comes back around. And as I view this, I see 2 distinctive moons. And when it rotates around the planet on the left, the moons appear pink all the time. And when they get to the other one looks orange and one looks blue. So they change colors as well. And the purpose, or what influences that, is the different energies that these 2 stars put off. So yeah, it's a definite, totally different setup than what this planet here experiences. In that solar system, right now, that's the only planet that exists. There's no others.
Will there eventually be others?
That's not planned right now. The way it's set up is in the infinity symbol, and it's self-supporting. There's no need for the other planets to keep this one in place.
Amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much. That's really intriguing. You also mentioned about the DNA in planets and on planets. So getting back to the planet that we're currently on now, when we leave, there's going to be DNA left. What is going to happen, or what is the significance of all our DNA on this planet?
There are controlled hybrid projects, but what the collectives that are very supportive of humanity and other species here, we don't want what you're calling left behind DNA stolen, hijacked, captured. There'll be cleanup crews that will come, and they will, it's a big job, but they're going to collect the DNA of all the species here, all of them, even the ones that have been buried for thousands of years, because that DNA can still be used. And then, like ashes to ashes and dust to dust, that saying you have, even the smallest atoms and molecules will be gathered up, and anything that is missed or left behind, once this planet has been set to self-destruct, that process will take care of the rest by incineration.
Can you give me some examples of what that DNA could be used for?
A master race that wouldn't have a peaceful agenda. The concerns would be crossbreeding, or trying to create smarter, stronger, but they wouldn't have souls. They would just be placed on planets to, what I'm showing her right now is there are some collectives that would love to make a creature that would resemble a humanoid, that would blend in to other planets, but they would be very controlled because they were manufactured. But the purpose of them would be to take over those planets. Of course, we can't allow that to happen. So by collecting the DNA, that type of hybrid would not come into existence. We've seen these plans, just like on your planet, things leak. There are collectives that share information that they've learned throughout the galaxies, and we've learned of this thought or plan, I guess. I'm just going to keep it simple. And that collective, the ones that do that, they haven't even showed up here. They're waiting in the wings to, like, in the dark of night, come and steal what they want. But we've been watching them because we were tipped off. And we know that they're very close.
I see. And so they can create humanoids from DNA, but they won't have souls. Can you tell us how we get our souls and what the difference would be for them not to have their souls?
We come from source. All souls come from source. All souls are family. We're all very connected. I know right now that you don't feel that unless you have like an immediate family, that nucleus, I can't say that word, sorry. You can feel that greatly because you're connected. You grew up with them, you're comfortable with them. With that example, I'll go back to source. All souls come from source. It's all energy. While you're here in the 3D, you might have feelings for another, like you've met them before, and you have. They're part of you. You're part of them, and they're part of you. Some you have stronger feelings for. So when this certain collective, they've tried to manufacture before, but the DNA did not gel. It did not, it's like putting a transplanted organ in a body. It didn't accept it. So they've had failures in the past, but they know the DNA that's on this planet is of pure nature. Even though we've destroyed a lot of stuff, a lot of the DNA has remained pure. And that's why they want it. It's like mining for diamonds, so to speak. It's the top notch, top shelf. And that's why they want it. So that has to be protected. They can't place a soul into their invention, we'll call it, because they're not source. And that's why it won't have a soul. It would be more like a clone.
Are you able to tell me a little bit more about the clones that are on this planet? Are they like machine sort of robot things, or is it something else?
There are organic robots. There is high technology that goes into a clone that's been produced lately. They wanted them to replicate the lives of the people that they were cloning, so they fit in and they could still perform surface duties and not be detected. Once the shift occurs and the clones will not go, there will be no support for them. They will die immediately. Their bodies do have expiration dates. If they're not killed, we'll call it, or decommissioned, we'll use that word again, they will walk the earth until their bodies just wear out and expire. And they'll be pretty tattered looking. What people imagined as zombies in movies is kind of what they're going to look like as the years go by for them. If planet Earth was going to be here that long. But I don't see it lasting past 2 years after the humans shift off this planet.
I see. And so would there be a possibility of clones just for systematically what would be perceived as dropping dead?
No, because they're not a part of the shift. The ones that look like they're going to drop dead is when the souls leave the bodies.
So,
And that's the DNA. That's the pure DNA. The clones do not have pure DNA. So that's why we're not concerned about collecting them.
I see. And so tell me more about those souls, those bodies who will just appear as if they're just suddenly dropping dead simultaneously. What's happening there?
There's been a lot of plans put into place to not traumatize the ones that are watching this. A lot of it's going to look like a natural disaster caused their death, or possibly they died because they were having a heart attack by what they were witnessing, overwhelmed by the circumstances. Not everybody's going to shift at the exact same moment. So the ones that are watching the others die, they're going to believe that it was natural causes of the events, the natural disasters that will be witnessed. Because some do still want to experience that. They want to see the most outrageous storm, volcano, tornado, whatever. They want to experience that, see it, and live through it. The ones that stay behind for like the second shift wave or the third shift wave, and they will experience the death of others. They would be more traumatized just to see people fall dead for no reason. So the natural disasters will help them process what they're seeing with the first shift going on or the second shift going on.
So they're not traumatized by seeing all those disasters, but they will be traumatized with seeing people drop dead.
For no reason. If they saw people drop for no reason, that would, freak them the heck out. But they can use logic or rationalize it by saying that caused their death.
Got it. Okay, thank you. So fascinating. And so then I wanted to be able to ask if I could call on a representative of the Palladians, and of course any other collectives that can help us assist with the next few questions. We wanted to be able to understand, since we're still human, and there is a lot of terms for Galactic Federation versus Galactic Alliance versus collectives versus species. I know that this is a very redundant question, but is there a difference between a Galactic Federation and then the Galactic Alliance?
They are one and the same. And the collectives that you are calling on right now, you're speaking to a Palladian. We've been listening to your sessions for quite some time. The Galactic Federation was formed with your mind. I'm going to use the number hundreds of thousands of years ago. And with each edition of a collective, they're invited in as they have matured and ascended through different processes, growth, expansion. Once you reach a certain level, you are you're invited in with your hierarchy. I'll put it in that wording. They are put through some orientation, and treaties are drawn up. Treaties are drawn up, and once everybody is in agreement on the same playing field, the same agendas, they are an official member of the Galactic Federation, and they have a voting right. The new collective decisions are made amongst us all for the betterment of whatever species that we are observing at the time. Right now it's Earth. In the Federation that supports this area, because there are more than one galactical federations. There's others in different universes that are different collectives. But the ones here, this one's made up of 9 main commanders that represent their collective, but they also respect their collective. So everybody's in agreement on which avenue to take. In this certain area, we have to respect the free will that was afforded this planet, and everybody here has that luxury of free will, and they definitely exercise it. If free will wasn't a block for us, we would have had this under control millenniums ago. But with the free will, even when people know what they need to do, they still get sidetracked or deterred. They lose their focus. That's the best way to put it. And we can only nudge so much before we reach that free will privilege. I don't even know if I answered your question. I felt like I really got off track.
It's absolutely fine. I am curious about the voting rights. How does the voting system work? Is it honest?
For the most part, honesty and integrity are of the utmost importance and characteristics that we look for before allowing a collective to enter the Federation. So yes, it's definitely honest. Everybody can present their wants for their collective, and if it is abrasive to another, sometimes there's many meetings or arbitration before it's resolved. So there's always compromise and love, and we try to avoid the bad emotions that can come with that. But there have been explosive meetings before, because some collectives are very passionate about how they want to grow. So we try to keep that to a minimum by going into different scenarios or different worlds on how to help them before we even start a game plan. We try to have an agenda on how to help them or what the end game needs to look like. So there's always planning, and it's always in the direction of the greater good for all involved.
Fantastic. Okay, well, that's great. And so pleasing to hear that. So thank you. Yes.
I need to add on a side note that some of the experiences from collectives that are here are not members of the Federation, but we do try to respect their free will, and that has also interfered with our agenda with this planet.
Do we get a sense of any of those names for those that are not part of it?
Yes. I know that you've had them in sessions before, but the Draconians and the Anunnaki are two that you're very familiar with. There's some lesser ones that have needs or that want to have some experiences and learning from this planet that you live on. But they're not, the lesser ones are not as bold, and they're very flexible. When they see the needs of others, they compromise and they give in easier because they don't have a huge backing. These other two collectives have a bigger backing, and they hold their ground longer.
What is their position now?
They are reassessing how much further they need to go before they feel satisfied with their growth. We have approached them with other planets that they can go and have the same experiences and lessons, so we can finish cleaning up this area of the galaxy. And that's where negotiations are right now, because they feel like they're here. They know the density, they know the energy, they know how much they're going to grow once they master what they want. And the other planets that were suggested to them, they are lesser, and they won't grow as fast with those lessons. It'll take longer because the energy is different.
So interesting. Okay, well, thank you. Also, I would like to talk to those who are involved in what we would call the broadcast. It's come to my attention again that this is something that they want to do again. And I'm suspecting it's the Palladians like last time, but correct me if I'm wrong.
The broadcast has been approached, approved, disapproved, reapproached. Right now, it is not favorable to do a broadcast. The plan that we would love to carry out, because it would expedite things, is to simply have these two collectives that we just mentioned move on with their lives, so we can move on with yours. And that's where our focus is right now. It's not on a broadcast to help humans or to help any one person. It's that was thought up to help people awaken. The energies in this part of the universe are actually helping do that. It's not a instantaneous thing, but it is helping. It's saturating the planet with trying to think of the best way to describe this to you. It enters you, it enters your DNA. It helps your DNA be unlocked, and your DNA can almost become a portal. And when your soul can breach that even a little bit, it sparks your memories, and that awakens you. And I don't mean your memories from this life on planet or any life on this planet, but memories of off this planet and who you really are. And once that starts to occur, and that's not an instant, like I said, an instant thing, but the more energy that your body absorbs and you can process it, it starts to change your DNA, and it helps that portal inside you open. And I don't know if that was too much all at once to tell you.
Well, I love that. That's very exciting. And so That is great. I really appreciate knowing about these DNA upgrades. Is that what
Yes,
we would call
that's
them?
why, yeah, and that's why lately people have been lethargic is really not the word, but more um they've been more within themselves. They've been distracted with themselves, not outside things. So they haven't been like communicating with family as much or interested in TV or working. That's what's going on with a lot of people right now. They're being self-absorbed within what's happening within them, even though they don't know what's going on. That's occurring at the same time. So the ones that feel like they're at peace or that they're doing a lot of reflection, they are, but that's what's causing it.
Fascinating. So many people are worried that they are disconnected from the dramas of 3D, thinking that they are absent-minded.
They're being drawn to what's happening as I described with the DNA, and that is the upgrades from the energies that are around them now. The more they accept this energy and what's going on, the faster the process will be, even though it's going to feel like it's a long time. If you're rejecting it, it's going to be a lot longer. So, acceptance, embrace it, love it. That would be my suggestions for helping yourselves.
Thank you. I saw today people were suggesting if you have ascension symptoms to go to the doctor just to make sure it's nothing of any real problem. What is your advice there when we see people suggesting going to the local GP?
Deep down, your intuition knows if your body is sick. So tapping into what you know in connecting with your higher self, you will know if there's something wrong with your body. But I also want to remind everybody, it's just your vehicle here. It is not you that is sick. Your soul, your energy is perfectly fine.
Well, thank you. I am aware of that approach and understanding. I think it's just a big sign that they are clueless to what is happening to humanity at this time, why the bodies are changing and the shift when they are saying run to your doctor.
It's a hard thing to accept or to realize that this is very temporary. The home that you've only known, all the history, everything you've been taught. And then of course it's more personal when it's your own body. That is something that's always been yours. You claimed it, you own it, and hopefully you love it. But to lose this body is almost the last attachment that you have to let go of before you leave here.
Well, yes, I understand that for some it is very hard, and I accept that. It still blows my mind to think that there are spiritual people running to doctors for their local GPs when some energy upgrades are happening. It just boggles me, but maybe that's just me being judgmental. But I thought that people at this point in this what everything that we have shared publicly and what the growth and the information that is out there, it still surprises me how people want to disempower themselves, especially professionals in the medical industry that doesn't seem to be quite aware of what the bodies are even doing.
The ones I'm seeing, I see a woman in particular, and I don't know why I'm focusing on her, but she's a little faith even within herself. She seems like throughout her whole life, she's learned things, but she's never let them resonate truly with her. She's very untrusting even of herself. And I would apply that to the majority of the ones that you're describing. They don't have, it's not that they don't have love for themselves, they just don't have enough trust or confidence in what they've been taught, what they even feel. And so they always have to have that outside reassurance. Somebody with a title, a label. The doctor told me this, so I'm going to believe him. I'm not going to believe myself, but I'm going to believe him. And that's what I'm seeing this particular woman. She has brown hair. I don't know if she's somebody that you're connected with, but I'm getting that energy from somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you would be probably picking up on the comments I was reading today, with compassion for the fact that she is suggesting for others who are trying to understand the upgrades what to do, which is certainly not about empowering self and trusting team, more like running to a doctor to be given information that isn't connected potentially to their own spiritual teams. But I mean, it is a state of.
I do want to add, everybody does have the knowledge within them and the power within them to heal themselves. I know that sounds far-fetched because we were never taught that. There's so many things that you weren't taught, that you have the abilities to perform certain tasks. It all sounds like magic, and we were told that doesn't exist and it's not real. But we've been lied to as a human race for way too long. And we need to break those lines that tie us down. Because once you leave here, sorry, and enter into another dimension, everything opens up for you. And you have to be very accepting there. You cannot bring these thoughts and attitudes with you. They cannot exist there. It's only love there. And that begins with loving yourself and trusting yourself and knowing you can do these things and empower yourself. So you don't need a doctor. You will have mentors, and you will have people that help you through certain graduation rites of passages, mastering things, but they do it with love. And there's doctors that you see here on this planet, they don't even remember you once you leave their office. There's no love there.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you so much. And a very loving reminder to all to connect in with your teams, trust yourself, love yourself, and take the time to honor you and your body at this important time as we are needing profound healing and connection.
Yes, very good, very wise words. And I know you remind your acquaintances and the people that you connect with all the time about their inner work and about loving themselves. I just want to emphasize on how so important those words are. And if you strive for nothing else, find love for yourself, every inch of your body, love every molecule, because that's what you have right now. And you will miss your body, even though you'll have many others as you travel through the universes and go on to different lives. You'll remember this one the most because it was very hard. And this body supported you through so much. So take care of it and love it.
Thank you. I think the people with the big egos confuse what truly loving themselves means. Would you like to break it down for them?
Yes, the ego is more of a protecting mechanism. It's very methodical, and logical. It is focused on survival. And sometimes that survival wants to be the best, the top, and first. And love doesn't support those things. When you have love for yourself, it is it puts you in a very neutral state, and you can observe things on the outside in a different manner, and you're not as competitive, because that doesn't matter with love. There's no competition. Everybody is the same. I want to say more on this subject, but it's expanding too fast for me to catch up with all the images that I'm seeing. I just know that love is so expansive and so important. And it's like a huge hug that you can put around everybody all at once, and it cures all. In the ego, on the reverse side, it's only supporting the physical body most of the time for survival.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, I hope that answered it. I feel like I missed something there, and we might need to explore that more later.
Mhm. It's fine. The people with the big egos won't be able to hear it anyway.
Oh my God, how true is that?
So yes, we will say 1,000 times, do your inner work and love yourself profoundly, and stop asking for others to love you, because that is not their role. You can only love yourself properly, and when you do finally love yourself, you can actually feel the love of others. It's a convoluted little fun obstacle of life.
Well, right now the vessel is feeling great love. That's why she was struggling to communicate the differences, because the ego is so abrasive against self-love. It needs to be an observer in your life, not a participant. And when it tries to influence you even loving yourself, it's a huge pitfall. I don't know if that's the right term, but it feels okay. And the ego can smash you down even more so than outside influences from other people. And it's hard to build yourself back up to your heart space. And you need to learn to live and breathe through your heart space. If you take a breath and you just imagine it going through your heart chakra, that will help you even feel love for yourself. And once you have that feeling, you're going to crave it more, and you're going to improve on that self-love. And that might be a good exercise to start with.
Well, yes, thank you. It would be great for those who haven't done their inner work to start focusing on healing themselves from that. That would be awesome. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so the reason why I brought up the broadcast was that there was rumors again that from other practitioners that the broadcast was going to happen very soon. And as you gave us that answer, we understand that. My follow-up question for that was there an experience where we did have the broadcast, but it didn't really work out well for humanity and it got a bit too triggered? And so did we pull back, or were we pulled back to not experience the broadcast, to experience something else?
You're very intuitive. We can see, or we can project what a timeline can do if events happen. And it was too chaotic to go forward with the broadcast initially. It did not serve its purpose. it didn't serve humanity. And so that's why it was tabled the first time. That's why the broadcast didn't happen then. So we've tried to leak information out in smaller doses, which has worked better. There'll be some subjects that won't be revealed at all because they were horrific. And they were just too much to absorb. Even now, they would be too much to observe, and it would definitely take focus off inner work. It would put people in fear too much. Some of the things that people want to hear through a broadcast just to seek justice, which is not self-serving, that is also ego-based, to see justice placed on another. It's very judgmental. But yeah, there's some subjects that will never be revealed. You can view them once you're in another dimension, back at your home planet. All the history of Earth will be available. So if you know, it's kind of like buying a magazine later. It will be available if your soul truly wants to know about it. But some of those triggers did not work out. They were too heavy, too much. The human mind cannot handle some of the things that occurred. And they will not be revealed. That's why the broadcast has been tried in a different timeline. It didn't work out. We even toned it back. It still placed too many in fear. So we've leaked certain things out slowly. And now you have a friend that wants to come in again. His name is John. And he wants to say that his kill switch that he put into place, it looks like for the same reason has not been implemented. He wants to tell you that he would love to go through with those plans. He was all for it. And it's like, damn, these people, they fucking deserve to go down. But he also realizes right now, the human race is just not ready for the whole truth. Some people just can't handle the truth.
Yes, it does. Well, thank you. Nice to hear from you again, John. How frustrating is it for you now to see it from this perspective, now that you know we shouldn't be afraid of sharing the truth, and it is easier to have your perspective, that's for sure.
I got nothing but love for you, baby. And I totally understand seeing things from this side and given more knowledge of how things needed to play out, even though I thought I was doing the right thing by setting up these safety nets for myself so I wouldn't be screwed with, but then I did it to myself, whatever. I understand that what I know and what I could shared, it has to be stifled for now. I can't share my shit with you yet. There will be a time, and but it's not yet. It's not today, and it's not tomorrow. I don't know if everything that I left behind for people to find will ever be shared, but it's what the hell. I tried my best. I did what I could while I was there, but I also had to protect my family and my friends. And if it were to come out now, it still might screw with them. So I'm okay with that. And I love all. And I do understand more from this side than I ever did then.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, it is interesting for us to have this access to this information and knowledge, and be in this balance and neutral understanding that if things aren't coming out to light. As we have been told in sessions, there's always going to be a bigger perspective, reason, and purpose for it. I know that frustrates the fuck out of people who are impatient and needing this more than focusing on their own love of self. So I understand, and I have compassion for all. But for me, I've never been interested in being able to even look at the crimes against humanity because I feel like I don't know if I would be able to recover from it. And just knowing that what has existed and needed to take place to awaken humanity is enough for me. And I really hope that those people who are still struggling to find justice, that they can do some inner work to accept the purposes and the lessons and the experiences for all, knowing that we can't judge and we can only respect other people's life contracts.
The word justice is overrated. We all know that everybody plays a role, and that's what they signed up to do, to experience, even if it triggers other people. That was also a part of the role. They had their contracts together. So when you inject justice into something you already agreed upon, there's no logic there. There's no love there. There's no lesson there. You are using your ego and your 3D mind to rationalize how you feel. But find the love first, and your perspective will definitely change.
Yeah, it seems like those people who haven't done their own inner work from their own childhood, they can't let go of the crimes against humanity for the children. I think they don't see, or they somehow miss that they're really mourning for themselves without noticing or giving themselves that healing or inner work growth.
The funny thing about inner work and most of your traumas happening in your childhood, that was designed to give you a whole lifetime to get over it. A whole lifetime to review it, to love every experience that you ever had. Because every one of them made you grow. And you need to respect all your lessons and your experiences and have nothing but love for them.
Yeah.
And that's a very deep part of your inner work.
Acceptance.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's motivating people to know how to overcome. And if there is any resistance to the acceptance, there is more inner work to accept. So John, is there anything else you'd like us to know?
Yes. I wasn't left out of that part of having childhood traumas. We all had them. We all had that bully. We all had, a relative or even your parent that was abusive. They had their roles to play, and you both agreed before you even came here. That's going to be you, and this is going to be me. And this is how it's going to play out. That's your role. This is mine. And you learned from it. You had your emotions as they come up right now, and as you have your memories of everything that triggered you from birth till now, and they will come up. They'll surface at the most fucked up moment sometimes. And it's like, God damn, I thought I went through that already. But there was another layer that you didn't address, and that's why it came up again. You might have seen it, you might have felt the emotions, but you might not have accepted it, loved it, understood it, and sent it on its way. Thank you, universe. I appreciate the lesson. That goes a long ways in doing your inner work. And you can finally put it to rest. And then that one may not bother you ever again, but it might have another layer, and it might come up again. If it does, you face it, and you head on. you address it. Some of them are probably the worst that you ever went through that you keep reliving. But eventually, every single layer will come off. And you'll finally be able to forgive the whole situation, forgive yourself, very big part, and forgive whatever being that you interacted with and you shared this experience and lesson with, because it was a sharing thing. You didn't really go through it alone. They did play their role and you played yours.
So true. So true. Great reminder. Thank you so much. And John, is there anything else you would like us to know?
I love that you allow me to just barge in sometimes. I know that it seems reckless, and I hope I provide each and every one of you with something that helps you grow and move forward. And I do this all with love.
I have a feeling even if we said no, you'd still come in.
You're probably right, because I'm just that kind of guy.
Yeah, and that's fine. And I have no problems with that, because I understand that you do have a great perspective now, and I think you're very relatable to the topics we're talking about. Did you have any clue about the shift to New Earth?
No, I had met people throughout my life that talked about spirituality or was a self-proclaimed guru or had the answers to the universe. None of that resonated with me as I was going through life on Earth. But in my latter days, I did find inner peace. I actually was beginning to learn to love myself, because I did do a lot of horrific things that I'm not proud of. I would never repeat them. I know they were all purposeful now, and I agreed to experience these things, but I really felt like a shithead a lot of times as I was reflecting on them in my final days. But I understand now, and I have forgiven myself, and I love myself immensely. And that's what I would encourage you guys to do while you're still a living, breathing creature on Earth, because it will help you ascend and shift so much easier. And it will be a very joyful experience. I had a few struggles. I had to go through some type of therapy. I came out okay. I'm sharing this with you to help build your confidence, knowing that once you are out of your 3D bodies, you really won't miss them, the functionality of them. You will be in a better place. So I was listening to the part about running to the doctor because you have an ailment. Yeah, that's for the birds. Fix it yourself.
Yeah. There is rumors that you did like to enjoy mind-altering drugs. What do you like enjoying now?
I like enjoying, there's just so much. One of the best things is the freedom that I feel. It is like smoking that joint. I'm just high on the freedom. The love. That can be overwhelming sometimes still, because when I was a human, I didn't experience a lot of love. There wasn't a lot of trust between me and other people that were in my network. But every being that I've come across, there's nothing but love, baby. That's why I want to spread that. Love yourself, love others. It's so freeing. That is the best thing.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much. Is there any other information you'd like us to know?
There's so much, but I think that will be it for now. I'm gonna depart, but I leave you with hugs and kisses. And thank you again.
Well, thank you. We respect your wisdom and energy in these sessions, and we again send you so much love. And we also send more love to your family and friends and to everyone else who really needed this information to be shared. May they be able to accept that others are not able to hear this information, will not cope with this information, and will drive their vibrations down so much that they will not be able to cope with the coming days and weeks and whatever time we have left before the shift. We have to think about the bigger picture here rather than 3D behaviors.
Yes, and I was thinking of my wife when you mentioned that. I don't know. I had a crazy notion that she needs to listen to one of your sessions. I don't know how to inject that into her life, but I have to find a way. So thank you for that thought and idea. And I'm going to send some type of message to her with love. She needs to know that I'm okay and that the love is so profound and she's missed.
Are you not able to hack her system or get into her computers? Why can't you do something like that for her?
That's probably what will happen. It's going to come up on a YouTube feed and it's going to come up every day until she finally listens. And it's going to be this session that I've visited, and there was another one maybe 3 weeks ago. But I'm going to have those two keep popping up. And just to let you know that I do send signals out through the computer. I'll have a McAfee ad pop up or something. If you guys see that, that's me saying hi to you.
I was just sent one of those today by a friend.
That friend was me. Oh, I have so much fun sometimes. Thank you for that.
Well, just know that we haven't forgotten you, and we do appreciate every time you give us these delightful conversations, because you know that we respect the dimension that you're in and the situation that you're in. So we will send you on your way with much love.
Thank you again.
Thank you.